Hello, my beautiful angels. I'm Karina, if you don't know me, and welcome back. Today, I want to talk about how I got out of my food rut. Okay, this was a really, really hard time for me, mentally and physically, just because I felt like I couldn't grow and I felt so terrible. I'm going to be honest. It was really challenging for me mentally to be stuck in a place where I had no appetite, I had a lot of food noise, and I just felt like I couldn't reach my goals, and that felt very discouraging. So let me tell you how I even got there in the first place and how I actually got out of it. And I'm in a good place right now. So let's go back to like May. I decided to go on a little cut. So I used to eat intuitively and just like eat healthy. Okay. I am a healthy eater, like in general. Like I wasn't eating like healthy, quote unquote. Like I was actually eating pretty healthy. Um, but I didn't count calories, okay? Then I started tracking my calories because I knew it was important. I started checking my macros and learning all about it because that's important, especially as a coach. Like, I obviously wasn't a coach back then, but I need to know. Like, I need to know how I can manipulate those to get the results that you want. But I started learning about calories, tracking my calories, and then I did that cut in May. This was like a couple of years after I started tracking my calories, but I did that cut in May. So I was tracking at the time. I was eating around 1,600 calories, so pretty low, okay? And it was a little hard for me at first because I was used to eating a lot because I was also running before, and I stopped running at that time because I got injured. But it was a little bit, but I got used to it. Like my body adjusted, and I was fine eating at that amount. But then after I finished that, my abs were looking really good, okay? But after I finished that, I realized I wanted to put on some more size because I was like, my arms are small, my legs are small, everything's small. So I really wanted to put on size. So I was like, you know what? I don't care if it's summer. I'm going to do a bulk. The problem was that I went too extreme at the beginning. And that is where I messed up. Okay, I went from 1,600 calories to like 2,100 calories. And yeah, that's 500 calorie surplus, but that is a pound a week. That is me gaining a pound a week. Now, I haven't been lifting for like 10 years plus. Okay, I haven't been lifting for a super, super long time, relatively. So I could afford to gain more in a short amount of time, gain more muscle. However, that was extremely hard for me to do. And that is why I did that. I made the big mistake. That is where I made the biggest mistake. My appetite was low because I was used to eating that much. And I just decided I'm going to increase by a whole nother meal when I was already satisfied with what I was having. So I started doing that. It was going fine. It was going fine. I was gaining fat. And then I got sick. I got my period. Okay, this is random. Every time I get my period, I get it normally. Like, oh, not miscellaneous. I seriously got my period. No, I get it every month. But every time I get it, my appetite basically goes away. I know it's opposite. Like people like crave sugar. Like I don't know. Like my appetite just goes. It leaves, and I just don't want to do anything, and I don't want to eat anything. My stomach just hurts, so it's bad. But also when I get sick, you obviously have no appetite. So that kind of was the first like, oh, you're losing some progress. I definitely lost some weight. I was sick for a while and I couldn't eat, so that sucked. And then after that, I was still not feeling good, and I had no appetite, and it just did not come back. So I started to, eat more. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna push more food. you know, it's not like I could just handle that before. I couldn't even handle that. But you know what? I'm gonna push more food. Okay, I'm gonna increase like 22, 23. And because I was tracking my calories, I would get so stressed because I wouldn't eat so early. Because what I did, I'm backtracking, but what I did when I was in the calorie deficit, I wouldn't start eating until like 11 o'clock. So that was why it worked out for me. And I trained myself. I wasn't hungry until that time. So now trying to fit like over 2,000 calories in like 2 meals is insane. Okay, that's insane. And now I eat breakfast in the morning. I get hungry as soon as I wake up, but I couldn't do that before. I trained myself not to, and then trying to force myself was just terrible. It was so unenjoyable, and I couldn't do it. I was just full. It wouldn't go down. So yeah, I started to push more food, and that was where I really, really, really messed up. I started to get really stressed out about the fact that I couldn't gain weight. And I was like, I want to start running again because I got injured and I was healed. I was like, I can't run, I guess. Now I'm super out of shape because of that. I'm starting to run again. But I was like, can't run because I'm trying to gain weight, which is not true. You still can. You just have to eat more. But like running makes you hungry. I wasn't moving. I think that was I wasn't moving. I was so focused on work that I just would eat, go to the gym, and just sit at my desk all day. And that was the issue. So I was so stressed. I felt so bad in my body. My workout sucked. Everything sucked. And I was so stressed. So I was like, I got to a breaking point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to track calories for a week just to give myself a little bit of like a deload, just to give myself a little bit of rest. And that was a couple of months ago. A couple months? It might have been like a month and a little bit. And I feel so much better now. I'm not trying to demonize tracking calories, but I think that is what really got to me because I was so stressed about the number that I didn't think about the quality or the quantity of foods that I was actually eating. And wasn't enjoying myself. And that is honestly the main thing. Like, yes, your health and fitness is important, but you don't want to be miserable. Okay, that's not the point. So when I stopped doing that, what I did was just make sure I was eating enough. I eat now like 4 times a day. I eat 4 meals and some snacks, and I'm gaining weight now steadily because I'm slowly increasing, slowly. And I didn't jump to an extreme high number. I just started eating a little bit more than I used to, picking foods that I actually really enjoy and not eating like 10 eggs for breakfast. I did like eggs a lot, but I got sick of it. Okay. And then you just don't want it after a while. And I really didn't want to eat it, but I kept making it for myself. Yeah, it was rough. It was really rough. And I started feeling so much better mentally. Physically, my workouts started going better. I started feeling more full. And it's been a great time. So yeah, hopefully that answers some of your questions about how my book is going. And I also just want to talk about it because it is important. It is important to not only make sure that you're reaching your goals, but that you're doing okay with it mentally. And I know that there are different ways to hit your goals. It doesn't have to be 100% the perfect way because something different works for everyone. And that is the beauty of everyone being their own person. Now, I will say this is something that I'd love to talk about, okay? Just because different things work for different people, that doesn't mean those things don't work, okay? Calorie surplus is what I'm doing, okay? I'm still in a surplus. I'm just choosing not to track, but I'm still in a surplus. I'm just eating more and I'm not tracking it. The same thing is with the calorie deficit. It always works, but people do different diets that all lead them to a calorie deficit. It wasn't the random diet that you did. It was the fact that you were in a deficit, okay? That is something that I'm very passionate about, like people making excuses and just debunking that because you will always make an excuse if you find it. You can find an excuse for everything, and you know what? You're not going to get it done. So if you believe that it's true, and it's never going to happen. And that's your choice at the end of the day, okay? But just stop blaming other people. Stop blaming your, like, circumstances. There's, like, 99% usually a way around what your excuse is. People just don't want to believe it. But sorry I went off a little rant there at the end. But yeah, I'm really enjoying my life, intuitively eating. I know I'm hitting my protein because I've experience in tracking my calories. I know I'm eating enough fat. I know I'm getting enough carbs. And I'm just having a great time. So thank you guys for listening. I love you guys so much. And I hope you have a very, very, very blessed day. If you made it to the end of the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.